All right, so I'm in kind of a strange, goofy, reflective mood today, and it's probably because my birthday was this past weekend, and this birthday was the big one. This birthday was the birthday that signifies the start of the end. This was the birthday where I'm going on Amazon to do some comparison shopping for walkers, and maybe while I'm at it, I'll throw some Depend undergarments in the shopping cart, and maybe one of those electronic devices you put on your neck, so if I fall and I can't get up, they'll send help. You know, when I tell people how old I am, they're usually surprised, and it's probably because I can still train jiu-jitsu at a reasonably high level. My body functions reasonably well. I can still do cartwheels. Although the white beard, I think, is a pretty good clue that I'm kind of getting up there to an advanced age. Oh man, I might have to start coloring the beard. But anyway, I'm just filibustering at this point because I don't want to admit how old I am, but I am 60 years old. 6 decades. 6-0. That's hard, man. But the good news is I still feel reasonably well. I don't know how much longer, but here we are. And since I'm in kind of a weird mood, I thought today we would talk about the 10 things that I can't live without. Before we get started, I wanted to mention that all of my instructional courses over at rickellis.com are currently 60% off in order to commemorate my 60th birthday. Just use coupon code CRAZY60 when you check out and you'll get 60% off. How great is that? And what are you waiting for? Because I'm not going to make them any cheaper for at least another decade until I turn 70. First thing I can't live without is coffee, although I just read a study that found that if you drink strong coffee, you can get as much as a 40% reduction in blood flow to the brain. And that has me a little bit freaked out because I have been drinking strong coffee since I was like 11 or 12 years old. I remember being a 12-year-old. I would fill the blender with milk, and then I'd get instant coffee, and then I'd get sugar and blend it all up and drink it. And I would do that at night. And you ask, where was my mother? Where was my parental supervision? And that's its own story. Not really much when I was growing up. And then as a 14, 15-year-old, my mother ended up being part owner in this kind of boutique coffee shop place that she ran. And they had an espresso machine, and I learned how to use it. And so from the time I was young, I was making espressos and cappuccinos and Turkish coffees and all that stuff and drinking it. And so I've had a love affair with coffee my whole life. But now I'm kind of wondering whether maybe I should rethink that. And I also wanted to mention, by the way, that I am a fan of drinking coffee out of a big mug. I hate drinking out of those little tiny cups. If you go to a coffee shop or a restaurant, they serve you in a little thimble. No, I'm into big cups. And this particular cup was a gift from one of my former jiu-jitsu students who used to run a Starbucks restaurant. These 20-ounce Starbucks cups, they don't actually sell. You have to, you can only get these if you drink a coffee in the restaurant. But he knew I liked these. He knew that I was lusting after one, and so he brought me one. And so this is my favorite cup. I don't let anyone touch my cup. I hand wash my cup every day. And someday I'm going to break this accidentally. I'm going to be really sad. Unless I quit drinking coffee. I might try quitting this week, maybe. Coffee. Something else I can't live without is music in my life. So at 12, I started playing music in the pep band in junior high, playing the trombone. And I loved it. We had a lot of fun playing at the football games in junior high. But by the time I was 15, 16, I realized that if you're in the band, you're not getting the chicks. And so I switched to guitar and I switched to piano. And I'm old enough that back in the 1980s, I was playing in rock bands. And trying to make it in music, but I never did. And so I took my passion for music. I ended up going back to school and getting a degree in audio engineering, and then I became a recording engineer. But that's a whole different story for another time. But something I can't live without is music in my life. Something else that I need in my life at all times is jujitsu gear. And so what do I use? Well, let's start with a mouth guard. I'm a fan of protecting your teeth when you train jujitsu. Not everybody wears a mouth guard. Impacts to the face are not very common, but still, I'm a fan of protecting. I wear Gladiator brand. They send you an imprint kit so you can mold it to your teeth. They last forever, and they're reasonably priced. What else do I have here? Compression shorts to keep the fellas well protected. Spats when I train no-gi. I'm a fan of covering up as much as your body as possible to avoid ringworm and staph and any of that stuff that can happen. I don't have any particular no-gi brand loyalty because half of my friends own jiu-jitsu schools and I get rash guards for free. This one I got in Norway, I think, a few weeks ago. There's that. I couldn't find my no-gi shorts, which happen to be no-gi brand, and I think those are the best grappling shorts on the market. They last forever. In fact, I was talking to Jake McKee, Budo Jake, a while back, and he was lamenting, he owns the no-gi brand, and he was lamenting that they're so well made that people buy them, and they literally never buy another pair. They last forever. So it's hard for him to get that those recurring purchases, like with some products. But they're great stuff. And I think I might have lost mine when I traveled to Europe. I had them with me and I haven't seen them since. So I might be buying another pair, Jake, if you're watching. What else? I wear Shoya Roll brand gis. This is an ultralight competition weight that I got for travel. Can I say that traveling with gis is the worst? The worst. You have to travel with an obnoxiously large suitcase to deal with gis. They're so bulky. In fact, I am ready to just abandon the gi. I like the gi, but I'm ready to just abandon it and go no gi when I travel because laundering, washing, traveling with gis is horrible. So yeah, I wear A2 long, Shoya Roll. I don't have a ton of brand loyalty with Shoya Roll, but I tend to use that brand because I know how they're going to fit me. I know how much they shrink. I've been wearing them forever. And so you kind of know what you're going to get when you order with a familiar brand. That said, I would love to rock an Origin gi. And so Pete Roberts, if you're listening and you want to give me a sponsorship for Origin, man, I will rock that hard. And you might not remember, Pete, you and I used to train together once in a while back when I was a purple belt and you were a brown belt, I think. And you used to drop in over at Alexi Cruz's place in Maine. I would train with you once in a while. So anyway, that's that. Jiu-jitsu gear, definitely something I can't live without. Something else that I can't live without is a computer. And because I edit video, I need a fast computer. This is a MacBook Pro M3 with a ton of RAM. If you're doing motion graphics, if you're doing a lot of audio plugins, if you're doing noise reduction, if you're doing a lot of color correction and LUTs and overlays and all the stuff that we do when we edit video, you need a fast computer. And so I run a MacBook Pro. You might have noticed that there's a piece of Velcro on the front of my laptop, and you might say, why do you have Velcro on the lid of your laptop? Well, because all my video editing is done on an external drive. I keep all of my video media on a drive, and when I'm editing On the road, I travel quite a bit. If I'm on a plane and I feel like editing, I don't like putting the drive wherever and having a cable to it. There's too much risk of it getting unplugged. So instead, I just stick it onto the lid of my computer, run a short cable to it, and then I can edit and work with it on my lap. Super convenient. My girlfriend kind of freaked out when she saw me putting Velcro on my brand new laptop, but I've always done it this way and it works great. I actually used to use duct tape before I got smart and started using Velcro. So laptop is something I can't live without. Something else I like having in my life at all times is a pocket knife, and probably not for the reasons that you might think. Yes, I carry a knife when I'm out in the world. Maybe there's a self-defense situation. Maybe I need to open a box. But mostly I like having a knife at my desk, or when I'm thinking, when I'm reading, when I'm working on a project, because it lets me fidget. I've always been a fidgety person. I'm someone that, my knee is always jiggling up and down. And, some people have those little fidget spinners. Me, I've always enjoyed just flicking a knife. And in particular, I'm a fan of Benchmade knives. This is the Presidio 2, I believe, with aluminum scales and SV30 steel. I've got a bunch of these Benchmades, but mostly I like Benchmade because of the axis lock. It's a locking mechanism that lets you retract the knife with one hand because it keeps your fingers out of the way. You have to train yourself to do it. Whereas most knives have a liner lock, and when you go to close them, your hand might be in the path of the blade. Now, I heard that this patent just expired, and so I think a lot of other knife manufacturers are going to start making axis locks, which is pretty cool. It's my favorite locking mechanism. Traditionally, Benchmades are my favorite knives, and this is something I need in my life at all times. Something else that I need in my life at all times is a good pair of Blundstone Boots. I've been wearing this brand forever. I've had many, many pairs of these. Why do I like these so much? Number one is they're incredibly fast to put on, and you can dress them up or you can dress them down. I can wear these with a t-shirt and jeans and they look great, or I can dress them up and put on a nice shirt and they look fine, especially for travel. I went to Europe a few weeks ago. This is literally the only pair of shoes that I took. I walked miles and miles. They're very comfortable to walk in. I walked through airports. I walked miles in Amsterdam. I went all over the place with a pair of Blundstones. And again, I could dress them down or I could dress them up as needed. So they're flexible. They're versatile. You can get them with Thinsulate in them, which is an insulation layer. If you live in a cold climate, you can get them with steel toes in them. And I've had steel-toed ones in the past myself. And let me tell you, nothing is more useful if you need to put a boot into somebody's chest than a good pair of Blundstones. So these qualify as something that I can't live without. Something else that I need in my life at all times is some kind of wireless headphones. These are AirPods. They're okay. They work fine. I don't love how they seal in my ear. They've got good noise cancellation, but I never get as good a seal with this style of headphone. I love how easy these things pair with your iPhone, your iPad, your MacBook. I mean, that part works fantastic, which is why I use these. But I use headphones when I go to the gym. I like to listen to music when I go for walks around my neighborhood, when I go for a jog around my neighborhood, or I just want to get out. I always have my ear pods with me. I wear these if I need to go on a podcast of some kind. I need to do a Zoom meeting or something. Or sometimes when I'm editing video, if I just want to check my stereo imaging and make sure that I don't have the voice on one side or anything weird like that. And so these are fine. At some point, I'll probably look at some other brands and other models to see if I can solve the problem of the sealing with my ears. But a pair of good earbuds is definitely something that I need in my life. And another gadget that I need in my life is a tablet. In this case, it's an iPad. For me, an iPad is strictly a consumption device. I don't answer email on my iPad. I don't text message on my iPad. I don't draw. I don't edit photos. I don't do anything that requires me to input anything. What I do is I read a lot. I've got Kindle on here. I'm always downloading Kindle books on my iPad. I do YouTube on my iPad, and I do some social media on my iPad. Typically, end of the night kind of thing. I'll lay in bed for an hour at the end of the night watching some, jujitsu competition matches, watching some jujitsu instructionals, watching some music, watching some tech stuff. And to me, an iPad or a tablet is the perfect consumption device, and I can't imagine not having one of these in my life. Something else that I need in my life at all times is video equipment, photography equipment, a camera. And I have been on a quest for the past decade at least, probably longer, to continuously reduce the size of the gear that I have into a small footprint so I can throw it on my back and it doesn't destroy my back when I'm traveling. And I think I'm pretty close to achieving that. Right now I'm running the Peak Design Everyday Backpack. Pretty nice backpack. None of them are perfect. It's decent. And what I put in it is this camera, which I'm going to have to do an insert so you can see it because I'm filming with it. That's a Sony a7C II. Insanely powerful camera in a really tiny package. I put it on a gimbal so it's image stabilized, and the results are phenomenal. Additionally, I carry a second camera. Right now I have the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which is a really fun, little tiny 4K image stabilized camera. You can plug external microphones wirelessly into this, so you can clip a mic on. You can use it for vlogging. You can use it for B-roll. You can use it, in a pinch as a second camera if you're doing a two-camera, multicam shoot. So this is a lot of fun. You can throw it in your pocket and just take it with you, which is what we did in Europe. We wandered around, did a lot of B-roll with an Osmo Pocket. These are great, and I'm super happy with my kit at the moment. And so yeah, if you are a content creator, you're a media creator, you're a YouTuber, you need photography and videography gear. Something else that I need in my life at all times is some kind of fitness watch. Really, that's the only reason why I wear this. I wear it to track my workouts. I wear it when I go on walks or jogs around the block. I wear it when I go to the gym. This particular one happens to be the Polar Vantage. The reason I settled on Polar, I've had a bunch of these Polar watches, is because once upon a time, I downloaded all the apps. I tried the Garmin, I tried the Suunto, and I tried the Polar, and I really liked the way the Polar apps worked the best. Maybe that's changed. Maybe the apps are better, with a different brand. I don't know. I've just stuck with Polar for better or for worse. I do like that they have something called the Polar Beats app, which lets you connect your phone to a chest strap. So for those times when I want to track my rolling, I will put on a chest strap and I will put my phone next to the side of the mat. Or for those times when I'm working out, maybe I'm swinging a kettlebell and I don't want to smash my watch. When I clean it, I'll either flip the watch backwards or I'll take it off and use a chest strap with my phone. And so no big, there's nothing particular about this watch that is all that special to me other than I just need a tracking watch to track my fitness.